economic growth and political stability in Oman, an opportunity for investors. Politically and financially stable, the Sultanate of Oman is experiencing strong economic growth and ushering in large-scale reforms and infrastructure developments. Robust economic growth due to strong oil prices, emerging industrial and manufacturing sectors. Strong growth is forecasted on the back of Oman's $112 billion 5-year development plan and its heavy focus on the development of transport infrastructure. Under His Majesty Sultan Qaboos bin Said Al Said's rule, an era of economic and political reforms ushered in the opening of a nation to foreign trade, diplomacy, and investment. Oman has a strong GDP growth. It is one of the fastest growing populations in the world. It has a long-standing US ally with a free trade agreement. It has continued political stability since 1970. It ranks among the top 10 most secure countries by the World Economic Forum. Its national economy is based on principles of justice and free market. Its trends are largely towards privatization, even in traditionally public sectors such as utilities. It has a low inflation at 1.2%. There are also great advantages for investors to Oman's position as a member of Gulf Cooperation Council and its FTA with US. It is the 13th largest world economy and 5th largest exporter. Total trade with the rest of the world is estimated over USD 1.2 trillion in 2011 and 2012. Trade flows within the GCC is worth $100 billion in 2012 and 2013. Highest trade surplus in the world at USD 558 billion in 2012. It has GCC trade connectivity to the world, which includes European Free Trade Association and GCC, Singapore and GCC, FTA negotiation with EU, China, New Zealand and Australia. United States has a free trade agreement with Oman under which customs duties and non-tariff barriers are removed from the majority of products. Trade expanded by over 50% since the signing of the FTA agreement with US. Oman's trade and investment performance is boosted by a strong legal system that offers robust legislation regarding the protection of business interests and minimal red tape, which expedites the process of starting and locating a company. In terms of country's bureaucratic environment, Oman is a regional outperformer, particularly in relation to procedures involving in startup of a business. The country has streamlined the process of starting up a business by allowing some procedures to be completed simultaneously, reducing the bureaucratic burden placed on businesses. The country benefits from a diversified set of trading partners, though it is noted that it is vulnerable to an economic slowdown in major markets such as China. A growing consumer market and rising rates of private financial consumption are, however, boosting the country's increasingly substantial import maker, and this could provide a range of opportunity for the investors. Oman's infrastructure sector. After completing 44 glorious years of the Renaissance, the Sultanate of Oman is pushing ahead with its rapid development with the ongoing construction of major infrastructure projects in many parts of the country. More development projects costing billions of dollars are set to be implemented in the coming years as the Sultanate takes concrete measures to diversify its economy. It is forecasted Oman's gross fixed capital formation GFCF to average around 6% in the next 5 years compared to the 7.9% in the last 5 years. In addition to government's $78 billion US 5-year spending plan, the government has also announced that the country will spend over $50 billion US in infrastructure projects over the next 15 years. From this budget, $20 billion US is earmarked for the transport sector, including Oman National Railways, which is where we see the strongest pipeline of projects. We expect Oman's transport infrastructure sector to continue experiencing a significant expansion over the next 10 years forecast period, particularly surrounding the development of the country's road and railway network. Spending allocation for new roads ventures in Oman were set at Omani Real 1.7 billion as part of the wider government 5-year spending plan, and as such has enjoyed considerable activity over the past few years. Oman's freight and logistics sector. It is forecasted volumes handled on Oman's freight transport network are set to enjoy strong growth over the coming years. The sector will benefit not only from a rapidly growing economy and consumer base, but also from sizable investment. This will not only benefit the sector directly through the construction of a new railway line, investment in airports and new terminals at the country's port, but will also develop industry heavily reliant on the freight network system. An example of this is Vale's iron ore pelletizing plant at Sohar, which generates considerable traffic of dry bulk ships at the port of Sohar. In 2015, tonnage throughput at Salalah is forecasted to reach 9.3 million tons on a growth of 7.9%, with growth to average 7.6% to 2019, whereas throughput at Sohar is forecasted to reach 59.38 million tons, which is a growth of 12.3% on a year-on-year basis. Air freight volumes forecast in 2015 is to grow by 7.1% and to average 7.4% over the medium term to 2019. Oman's total trade real growth is forecast at 3.9% in 2015 and set to average 1.2% to 2019. Strategic location as a trade hub in Arabian Peninsula. Located on the strategic axis of the Indian Ocean and Arabian Gulf, Oman boasts accessible trade routes and fast transport lines to the world's most attractive emerging markets. It is more centrally located than Arabian Gulf, 2 days closer than UAE or Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. It is located on major international shipping routes within 2 weeks of major ports. It has direct trade routes to the growing GCC market, India and Africa. It has modern infrastructure, transport facilities and business environments. It offers 4 major ports with entry to the Gulf market, It provides 6 airports, regular and direct flights to South Asia, Africa and Europe. It provides alternative routes to the politically volatile Strait of Hormuz compared to other GCC countries. It has abundant and competitive access to natural resources, energy, financing and labor. In line with the Sultanate's objective of becoming the transshipment hub for dry bulk and petrochemical goods, the government has implemented development plans for country's seaports. The upgrade to Oman's ports will improve their efficiency, capacity and connectivity, both internally and externally, which will provide businesses with greater access to international supply chains. Strong maritime and air connection not only mitigate Oman's transport risk but improve performance in trade procedures and governance as well. Maritime connectivity is already extensive and air connectivity is growing steadily, driven by the rising demand of passenger and air cargo service. Moreover, infrastructure in the country is of high quality. These improve efficiencies and reduces shipping costs and lead times, which are competitive on a regional and global scale. Sabla, the proposed logistic gateway of Middle East. South Al-Batina logistic area, or in short Sabla, is a strategic initiative by the Omani government to kickstart the growth of a logistic-based economic sector in the Sultanate. The government of Oman has long been supportive of the port development projects, and at the start of this year launched a request for expression of interest for the lease to operate and manage the country's first dry port, as it seeks to reform regulation and attract foreign investors. The South Al-Batina logistic area, or Sabla as it is officially known, is a cornerstone of a long-term strategy by the government to position Oman as a logistic gateway to Middle East. A project site spread over 8,100 hectares has been identified at the intersection of the Barka Nakhal Road and the Muscat Al-Batina expressway route, as well as planned railway line between Sohar and Muscat. Activities and facilities within Sabla will include a custom bonded dry port, an intermodal rail terminal, warehouse and distribution facilities, open storage yards, truck parking and service centers, amongst other. The government is funding the $26 million startup cost for the inland port because it is a greenfield project that needs to be quickly established. A steering committee made up of top officials representing a number of government ministries and regulatory agencies is spearheading the implementation of the logistic area project. It will also go a long way in addressing the need for modern logistic infrastructure and services in the Sultanate of Oman. A master plan envisages dedicated areas for logistic, commercial activities, light industrial, residential, and supporting services within Sabla. Holding pride of place within the project area is a full-service dry port designed to serve as a midway location for shippers to receive and deliver their cargo originating from or bound for Sohar port. Additionally, it will help drive the growth of a logistic-based economic sector in the Sultanate, fueling in turn employment generation, SME development, and inward investment as well. Linked by rail and road with major industrial and commercial centers across North Oman, the logistic hub also has the potential to stimulate economic growth with beneficial implications for the entire country. Longer term, the Sabla project is expected to catalyze the growth of a new urban development that in turn will fuel non-oil economic investment and generation. Proximity to the population center of Al Batina and Muscat governorates are expected to spawn industrial, commercial, residential, hospitality, and other economic activities around the area. Development is planned in phases. Phase 1 will focus on Block A, an area that will encompass warehousing facilities as well as Sultanate's first ever inland dry port. Development is currently focused on Phase 1, which comprises a 30-hectare area that will function as a custom bonded gateway for shippers to receive and deliver cargo originating from or destined to the greater Muscat area by the country's port, including Port of Sohar. The dry port is also to serve as a storage yard for shipping containers and other freight plying between Muscat and Sohar. What can Sabla offer you? Sabla is strategically located halfway point for shipping containers and other freight plying between Muscat and Sohar port. It will serve the shippers and the logistic providers a one-stop window for all their export-import activities. With custom bonded services, ample capacity, and eventual connectivity with the Muscat-Batina Expressway and the GCC rail, the dry port will be ideally positioned to serve the needs of the shipper and logistic service providers. Activities and facilities within the logistic area will include a custom bonded dry port, eventual intermodal rail terminal, warehouse and distribution facilities, open area storage yard, truck parking, and service centers. The inland depot will alleviate capacity issues in Sohar and offer shippers more attractive free time and per diem rates for storage. The facility will also support the receipt of empty containers for export loads, return managements, or repair. Also, container freight station for consolidating and deconsolidating cargo is also being thought about. The logistic area will be oriented towards the western and central part of the project site in order to facilitate the eventual intermodal rail connectivity and remain close to highway access while preserving more valuable highway and regional roadway frontages for commercial activities. Commercial area anticipate the development of retail outlets for consumer-based products, wholesale facilities, office space, restaurants, auto malls, a convention center, and other hospitality-related businesses such as hotels. These areas are strategically planned along the major connecting roadways for attractiveness while also mitigating the amount of small vehicle traffic having to combine with heavier truck traffic associated with the logistic and light industrial areas. Light industrial areas may include textile production, electronics manufacturing, food processing, commercial bakeries, automobile and equipment machinery, repair and processing. The residential area will be land reserved for the prospect of establishing guest worker and executive housing for employees of the companies. Included in the master plan is an eventual intermodal rail transfer area once the GCC railway line gets completed. Areas for administrative functions, customer service, and government services, including customs. The project is initially planned to be developed over 6 phases, with phase 1 block A to be earmarked for the dry port. The logistic area is currently conceived to be approximately 44% of the total development. The commercial, residential, and light industrial areas represent 9, 18, and 10% respectively. The long-term strategy of the project will seek to also develop dedicated areas for commercial activities, light industrial business, and residential areas, in addition to supporting facilities with a view for each of the functions to become interdependent over time. Just to summarize on the opportunities and incentive available in Sabla. Exclusive licensing to haul dual trailers between Port of Sohar and Sabla. Future on-site intermodal rail container transfer facilities. Long-term ground leases designed to facilitate financing of tenant developments. Possible build-to-suit options. Government-funded common infrastructures, roads and utilities. Properly designed internal road networks to safely accommodate heavy haul truck, parcel, light vehicle traffic, and pedestrians. There are also some planned logistics function. Transportation handling facilities, which include multimodal transfer facilities, railway terminal, truck terminal parking and depot, container handling and maintenance, shippers and transporters. Under logistics support facility includes customs, stuffing, destuffing, banking, logistics service providers, freight forwarders, and customs agents. Other facilities includes special truck lane, showrooms and warehouses, commercial area, center and SME, small industry warehouse, and SME and processing industry. Thank you very much for your kind attention. Hope to see you in Sabla soon.